Hello everyone, I'm Will Harmon, tax attorney, CPA, IRS enrolled agent with Harmon Tax Resolution. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm here to discuss with you IRS Audit Reconsideration. Now what is that? It is a process where the IRS allows you to challenge the results of a recent audit of your tax returns. You're given the opportunity to provide explanations as to why the results are not correct. Now, you can't just challenge it out of spite. You need to have a legitimate reason, some actual tangible proof of why this is different. Maybe you have some additional documentation that wasn't presented initially, or maybe how the IRS characterized something is incorrect, and that needs to be challenged. Maybe you were not able to appear for the audit for a legitimate reason, or maybe you didn't receive the actual audit report at your residence where it was supposed to go. Audit reconsiderations are fairly simple to apply for. It can be done in a letter format, or there's a specific form that you can choose for it. So what's the best way to do an audit reconsideration? Well, for starters, you want to go through the 4549 audit report, and that's the report the audit sent you back that when you open it up, you said, no way, this is wrong. So you want to go through each item there and address each item to determine the points that you're disagreeing with. Because when you do submit for the audit reconsideration, you're going to do it on a point-by-point basis, and it's much better to do it in the itemization listing on that 4549 the way it was presented to you. It'll go much smoother with the IRS when you do. Because it's very important to present a clear, audible trail. So once you've gotten all that information together, you've tagged it, you've properly listed it on the report so someone seeing that will know exactly what you're stating. Then you're going to present copies of information that you're going to use to support your position. Now make sure it's copies. You don't want to send the originals. The IRS won't accept it if you send the originals. They may reject it altogether and you may not get the originals back. So don't send originals. Always send photocopies. Now, examples of items to send would be copies of bank statements, copies of invoice, canceled checks, anything that you have not submitted. It needs to be new information. Remember that. It can't be what you already submitted. It has to be new information. And then, of course, draft a letter that clearly states your position. Now, if you don't want to draft a letter, you can use IRS Form 12661, which is designated for this. Each situation has its own merits, whether a letter with a longer narrative will be better for your situation. Return, it may be that you want to write a letter and quote the IRC code as to why you're right and they're incorrect. Now, if you have something like that, I highly recommend that you hire a tax professional to help you with that. Because unless you're dealing with the IRS code on a regular basis, it may not make as much sense to you, or you may not see what it is that you can change. Now, another reason to have a tax professional help you with this is because you want to make sure that you're only giving the required information to the IRS, that you're not giving them more. More does not help. It actually could open up additional questions. So it's a good idea to speak with someone who does this all the time, and they'll be able to address what needs to be sent and how much of it. So when they finally get back to you, they're going to give you a determination on your reconsideration request. If it's favorable, you won't have to pay the tax. Maybe you'll get a partial abatement on what you're looking for, and only some of it will be owed, or you have to pay the balance in its entirety. Now, if you're in a position that you're not able to make those payments, you don't have the ability to pay it off, there are other payment options available, such as installment plans, maybe currently not collectible, depending upon your situation, partial pay installment plans, form of an offer and compromise. Now, these are all things you probably want to speak to a tax professional about. So once you've submitted the documents to the IRS, normally within 30 days, you'll hear a response back. But don't be surprised if it takes 2 months or 3 months for them to get back to you. Now, the other thing to consider is if the results come back and you totally disagree with it, or some of it, you still have options to appeal it. You can request an appeals conference, You can pay the amount in full and file a formal claim. Or again, you can do nothing and the IRS will just send you a bill. Well, I hope this information helped. Feel free to read the blog. There's a lot more detailed information in there you'll find useful. In addition to that, there are other articles that I've listed within the blog that will give a more complete picture of everything. Now, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to give me a call or fill out the inquiry, shoot me an email, will@harmonassociates.net, or go into my website and there's an inquiry form there you can fill out. It's a free consultation. I'll be more than happy to help in any way I can. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.